Hey, welcome. All right, thanks for tuning in and check out your boy. Be fun. Think right out here in the line. What I do for you today. I got a nice lesson for you. Hope you got your popcorn and your seatbelts on because it's gonna be a minute. I'm just letting you know. Let's go. Writers in 25 Rules to Live by Storytelling. Story with a message, story for life. I give life lessons and I get some from the book. But the numbers say you tune in and receiving them. I hope they're working out for you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thing is mission, and that's what I'm on. You know the deal. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Think is way of life, and that's what it is. Through mental and spiritual discipline daily, that's what it is, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, and that's what I'm on every day to do just that. All right thinkers who want to know themselves, I'm gonna give you all the information and all the tools you need to do just that. Let's go. Know thyself is a question that you should have an answer to, at least for yourself. My goal is to get all right thinkers to be able to do that. So let's go. There's five kinds of people. One of these are you. You want to be the one at the end. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. You don't want to be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, they told me to get this information. They're simple. I teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Don't worry about it. I got you. A person who knows not, and I appreciate you too. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. Don't be them. A person who knows but knows not that they know, it's okay. They're asleep spiritually. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. So let's go. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. I think we know that self. Into my eye. Be true. You know, I'm in my other book. I was doing some stuff in the tree of life. Let's put that on hold for a minute. I got another direction I'm going to. It's trying to get you to know God. I'm tired of the believers in God. I want you to be a knower of God, and I can make that possible. I can show you how to do it. Today's lesson, right, thinkers, let's talk about who is God in the light of yoga. Yoga, Egyptian yoga, is a way of life, a lifestyle that you adopt by knowing thyself and communing your higher self, aka God. Let me break God down for you. Let's start out with the introduction. Who is this first and chief being referred to in this right thing philosophy or she taught me that? I put my plug in there. Okay, now it refers to, listen, the transcendental, absolute, supreme being. We call him the Neberja, the absolute one. Everything comes from the one. So that who God is, according to right thinking philosophy and Shita Nana. We'll break it down for you so you're gonna understand who he is. You're even gonna understand how to deal and get to him and emulate and be like him. Trust me, when I get done, you're gonna know God. You won't have to believe. Well, a man told me I know God, so let's go. That supreme being we call God. But how is this supreme being to be discovered? Bam. That's where I come in at. Now let me do my job. The divine must be understood through philosophical training. This requires what? A process by which a spiritual or right thinker, aspirant, first does what? Listen to the teachings and then do what? Reflect on the mystical meaning of the teachings contained within. That means don't just listen, get, understand, reflect, and then the third step to that, watch this. This was the best part for me is once you do that, you got the lesson, listen to that. This section will explore, watch this, the understanding of God. That's what I'm trying to say. We're going to break down God from what? The point of view, just the point of view of yoga. And it will provide a means by which the intellect can be gradually purified with knowledge of self and made subtle so that it may what? Partake in the wondrous resurrection which the goddess imparts to all those who ponder over the sacred matters and seeks therein for what? The hidden truth. They hide the truth in plain sight. It's so easy that you just go right past it, most people. But with tutoring and tutelage and understanding, you will see it and recognize it for what it is, and you can appreciate it. Okay, that's the concept of God. This process is accomplished, and it can be accomplished by what? Acquiring knowledge, which the goddess invites us to seek after. Knowledge is the key. As bearing, as being near, and dwelling what? Continually within her Aset wisdom, the lady of wisdom, the consort of Asar. Okay, this implies that she's the mother of teaching who? Haru, which is you. This implies that studies must be, spiritual studies, that's what we do daily, must be what? Continuous daily if there are to be what? Effective. If it's going to work, you can't do it day without then. I can't be a right thinker today and act the fool tomorrow and say, well, I'm a right thinker. No, no, no. You have to be it all the time. You can't be a saint and a sinner. They don't go together. So understand it. The same thing with knowledge. Now, in the yoga of wisdom, watch this. This means developing the art of what? Keeping a continuous flow of what? Positive thoughts and recognizing the teachings no matter what you are doing. I call it being God conscious. I'm always going to keep my mind on God so I can hold myself focused and accountable to do the right thing. That's my eye. Okay. You may be, watch this, doing the dishes, don't make a difference, walking, eating, etc. Even at these times, you must what? Continuously remember the teachings. And when you succeed in what? Maintaining a constant flow of positive right thoughts towards what? The divine, you will achieve what? The third stem of the yoga of wisdom. You will have what? Purified what? Your mind. It's all mental. So once the mind is purified, the heart will do its job. Once your mind is so as to what? Continually what? Meditate on the divine. I call it God conscious. I'm always in a meditative state of mind when it comes to being conscious of God. Why? That keeps me in due bounds. I won't wild out. Why? I'm constantly got God on my mind. I got to be obedient. I got to serve. I got to do. So this holds you accountable. But if I just believed in God, that's not a strong enough hold to make me do the right thing. A lot of people commit a lot of wrong in what? Believing in God. So I don't subscribe to the belief theory, and that's why. This process, watch this, will eradicate all, you ready for this? I got to highlight this. Egoism. With knowledge, you will supersede the ignorant part of yourself and raise your conscious level to be a better you. That's the whole ticket about being enlightened. And watch this. When you eradicate all egoism, you will discover what? The highest reality within yourself. That's God. The essence of us is God. Spirit in us is of God. We need to become conscious of that. That's the key. And that's what I try to teach to all my right thinkers. I could care less about religion. No, I got the concept that if you follow it, I know it works. So I'm not here saying, well, nope, nope, don't care about them. I got one I know works. This is mine. So I can speak for this. So moving on. This is what? The path of wisdom. I want to be a wise man. I need to act, think, do, be what? Like a wise man. Practicing to be that. Let me go. So let me see how far I can go. Watch this. So the first thing you must understand is you must study. If you see me without a book, something's wrong. Simple as that. I carry a book. Why? Because at my downtime, I'm going to study. That's what books are for. You must study the teachings presented here, and then you must what? Begin again by what? Reflecting on what you have learned. To learn something and don't understand it, reflect on it, or act on it, what's the purpose of learning it? They give us education from pre-K to 12. And then when you get past 12, go to college, they tell you, forget everything you learned. Why give it to us? If we gave the truth from pre-K to 12, we won't have a problem. It'll be continuous. Why? Because you start out, it won't stop. It's continual like anything else. There are three other important books, series of wisdom studies from the perspective of yoga and mystical spirituality from the Sima Yoga book series. I got them all. These are the Saurian Resurrection. Got that in the library right there. The Ancient Egyptian Bible. Hmm. Don't have that one. Thought it was something else. Okay, let's check into that one. But Ancient Egyptian Bible, aka what a book of the day. I got that. Serious. Okay, the mystical teachings of the Assyrian resurrection and Egyptian proverbs. Got that also. So when you studying, you study to learn. You learn to act, to manifest, to make sure what you're learning is what it's supposed to be. That's the whole purpose. Now, the book, The Mystical Teachings of the Syrian Resurrection, it contains what? The mystical teachings given to who? Haru. When Aset initiated him into the mysteries of life. Our mothers bring us into the world, and they're our first teachers. Sorry, father, the mother get top billing. Stop getting into this fact, well, she's mine, she's mine. The human being is a human being. The father produced it. The mother carried it. When it come out, they both got to take care of it, to nurture it. Y'all both took the maker. So stop with this. I don't need a man. I don't single parent. You can't single parent. It's impossible to have a baby by yourself. Understand that concept, please, young people. Watch this. Now, and Aset taught him, initiated him in the mysteries of life, nurtured him in preparation for what? His battle with who? Set. We as parents, we know what your life is going to be like. Wow, we did ours, so we can try to prepare you. And good parenting is doing just that. Prepare them for what? Set their ego. Thus, the study of these important teachers will complement this volume most excellently. I'm about to take you down to the next level of reading more information, giving you knowledge and understanding of the yoga concept by knowing God and living, doing, and being, manifesting it for yourself than anybody outside entity when it comes to God. Who is God in the light of yoga? Good question. I can answer that. The Sema Yoga book series, that's my man Mutai Ashby. Got a bunch of them. Okay, I got them all. So, watch this. Is the product of what? Listen, this is what makes a difference. When you read the preface, it's the product of years of research. I spent years of studying. He spent years researching it to give it, so I spent my years to learn it and master it. That's the whole point. You got to spend years in spiritual practice to master it. He produced several volumes treating varied subjects related to ancient Egyptian yoga and mystical religious philosophy. One of the best. This volume will focus on what? Expanding the understanding of the idea of God. Expanding the idea of God from an initiated yogic viewpoint based on what? The mystical teachings of the ancient Egyptians. We knew God way before the Bible come along. Okay, understand that. So I don't get caught up in y'all. Well, the scripture. Please, in that time. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. We knew God for a long time. So understand that. I'm trying to get you to understand God for yourself. You don't need scripture for that. You need knowledge of self for that. So, and practice it on your own, day to day. Why? Make it a part of your life. Now, in the book, The Hidden Properties of Matter, we introduce the idea that the word God, the word with God is okay, is a metaphor for what? For that which transcends all human categories of thought and all mental concepts. At this point, the spiritual aspirant, the right thinker, you need to delve deeply into what? The description of attributes of God. You hear that? The description of the attributes of God, because that's how you recognize him. That's how you know him, regardless of the form presented, male, female, zoomorphic, or anthropomorphic. These are just lessons to show you aspects of God again, and an effort to what? Develop an understanding of what? The subtle implications of the symbols and myths as representations of what? The truth, aka spiritual truths, rather than as truth itself. There's levels of truth. There's levels to this thing. And watch this. In this regard, religion, again, and myth are seen as psychomythology, mind stories to help you understand and be and do for yourself. That's what it's all about. So believe in something, some stories that happen, and that don't do nothing for you. Teach you how to be, how to do. That's what works. Trust me. That's what I do for you. Let's go. Moving on. Through the study of ancient myths. Okay. Again, myths. These are stories, just like the Bible, myths. If they told you Bible thumpers that that Bible is a book of myths, would you understand it better? Would you be able to use it the way it's intended? That's why we tell you it's a myth. It's a language of education. It's the philosophy that you can understand, identify with, and make it your own. Moving on, that's the concept. So through the study of ancient myths and the insight from initiatic understanding, your perspective for yourself, the idea of God is what expanded from the dogmatic, which is belief, to and mythological, which is storytelling about it, comprehension to the metaphysical for you actually doing and comprehending for yourself because it's uncomprehensible. You got to get it here and here between the ears and then the heart. They knew that ancient times. We got a whole bunch of fancy words for it now. Neurologists, psychologists, all this sweat. It's all the same thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What I know about my ancient Egyptian studies, 35 years now, I'm going on 40, headed with my road. But the Bible tries to emulate that to the degree, but it falls way short because it don't tell y'all it's a story, mythological, astrological story about people who never really existed. But you also hell bent on their existence, so you missed the whole story. You missed the whole purpose and the meaning. How you living? Damn what they did. I don't care about how the Egyptians live. I want the philosophy that they live by to show how they live. That's what I'm practicing. That's what I'm trying to teach. Then this metaphysical, which is the third aspect of learning, listening, reflecting, and then you implement it and you become it. Watch this. Then this metaphysical understanding is related to you. You, the individual, the student, the right thinker. So what? You can begin to what? Understanding your own divine nature. That's why I want you to know God for yourself. I can sit here and get talk blue in the face about how good God is to me, and He is, but that won't do nothing for you. But if you put your work in, He'll be just as good to you as He is to me. That's my point. That's my teachings. The idea of God is various. Excuse me. The idea of God in, watch this, various religions has ranged from I'm a jealous God, had no other God before me, personality, and for one who destroys the entire Sodom and Gomorrah civilization. Why? Because they wasn't living according to His will. So you got examples of it. If you don't do right, He might take care of that. So what more evidence do you need? God's been God since we've been here. And we've always been doing the same thing, other than the Egyptians for 4,000 years living in harmony under His rule. We our civilization ain't came close to being respectful and showing Him the respect that He's due. So understand that. So, and without complying to His will, He sent His daughter. We got a story about how God sent Sekhmet down to destroy all the evil ones, unrighteous. It was good for a minute, but now the unrighteous look more like the righteous, and the righteous look more like the unrighteous. So it's hard to tell the difference. So you get your dealings at Judgment Day. Everybody get a free ride to do whatever they want, but there's the consequences. So that's the concept. That's the concept. Watch this. Now, others which display an idea wherein God, watch this, is good, the principle, while the devil is the evil principle of existence. Right there, I'm gonna put them on right there. That's the most ridiculous concept, but no, I'm just saying because I know better. And good, evil, yeah, you got no difference between the two. It's always been there. It ain't nothing new. But y'all created this devil thing. Okay, that's you. The devil is nothing but opposition to God. When you go against what's right, you become the devil. Please understand it. It ain't that hard. Oh, the devil made me do it. Yeah, you. Okay, but you. But guess who gonna pay for it? You. So if you let the devil sway you to do something, well, it wasn't me, the devil. Who gonna pay for it? You. Moving on. Other views, watch this. You got other religious views have held that God is female. Mhm. I ain't got a problem with that. Or the humanity originated as a product of aliens. I'm not buying that. Who visit Earth in ancient times and deposit life on planet Earth. That's a little out there. That's a little much. But for those who don't mind that, that's cool. I can care less what you believe, what you think. That don't mean nothing to me. How you living? Stop worrying about the past. You can't change none of that. Worry about what's going to happen in the future, but in the present, you can make the change now. Simple as that, within yourself. Now, these are all attempts to what? To explain the unexplainable. Simple. So you need philosophy, mythology, because some things you have to put together and make it fit, so to speak. But here you go. To explain the fact that creation does somehow exist. We wasn't there. Wasn't nobody there in the beginning. In the beginning, we don't know jack. We just can go by what has been passed down. So understand that I ain't got a problem with that again. So because the senses perceive it to be, it is beyond the grasp of human mind to what? Comprehend God. I'll get that again. However, these attempts have led to what? Various misinterpretations of God, which have led humanity to various forms of more misunderstandings as well as conflicts among religions, which with differing views. You got 600 different denominations of Christianity, so don't tell me y'all on the same court. No. So understand that. I was a Mason. We got at least 4 different divisions of Masonry. So I know nobody wants to give up their power. So it's all ego driven. When you tell me about power, when you tell me about position, that's ego. And y'all ain't got a clue about that. And the first rule of the ancients was get control of that thing. When you're in power and you're a narcissistic, egotistic, perverted person, you will invoke that on everybody else. So we've been seeing it throughout history. It's no different. We're going through it now. So moving on. I ain't got time for that. But I'm trying to give you understanding about God for yourself. Listen to my lesson. All right. So some see, watch this, their idea of God as the only proper and correct one. My God, my most high God, my God to beat your God. What the LL Cool J, y'all thinking about it ain't a competition, ain't but one God. Y'all the one create that nonsense. Understand that religion is man-made. Spirituality is what God made. While others see their ideas more inclusive and encompassing. Well, we look at this. I don't care how you think, feel, look at God. I care about how you treat me as a person. Simple as that. The original meaning, watch this. Here we go with the Latin derivative of the word religion. I broke that down for you earlier. Is to what? Rejoin, to link back, to hold. In the essence of true religion, listen, I know the essence of true religion, watch this, is that to what? Linking back, specifically linking its followers back to what? Their original source, Netter, aka God. Although religion in its purest form is what? A yoga system. But they changed it because they want it to be a belief system. Sound familiar? Unite individual consciousness. When yoga, they want you and your higher consciousness to become one, to be conscious with the universe, aka the cosmic forces. That's the original intent. And the meaning of scriptures are often, here you go, misunderstood through corruption and, if nothing else, distortion. This occurs because what? Religions have developed in different geographical areas. We understand that even in Egypt, we had Waset, Memphis, and Thebes. They had different concepts about God. Still God, but different names and different concepts. So it's no big deal. But when you start to say your God is better, so I'm gonna take over you because your God, that's man. So we're coming from different geographical areas. Watch this. And the elementary levels of religion, the historical accounts, the stories and traditions, It's no different. That book that y'all studied, it's been around 2,500 years. That's all. My philosophy been around 10,000. So we're not gonna play that game. I ain't involved with proving this, that, and the other. I'm just letting you know how you can find God for yourself. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. What you call it, how you call it, don't care. Understand? I want you to get there. So when you get there, you can call it whatever you want. Watch this. Now, most of them had God at an elementary level. All religions tend to be what? Deistic. That means it's demanding, telling you what to do. Deism, as a religious belief or form of theism, holds that God's actions, watch this, was restricted to an initial act. In 6 days, he created everything. In the seventh day, he relaxed. Okay. And this initial acts of creation, after which he retired, separated to contemplate the majesty of his work. I did read this before. Sounds so familiar. Why? Because y'all took God out of man. Religion took God and put him somewhere else. Deist holds that the nature creation is regulated by laws put in place by God. We know Maya. That's the law they put in place. We know that. We teach that. I give you the pedestal. Now, at creation order, she represents order. Sun, 24 hours rotating. For 12 of them, we're going to see. 12 of them, we won't see. But that's the order. Watch this. Then God at creation time holds that the natural is regulated by laws that God put in by God at what? At creation. They call it the Big Bang. Time and inscribed with what? Perfect moral principles. Maya is perfect moral principles set by God from ancients. I'm not changing. I could care less about your Christ, your Buddha, I don't care nothing about them. That nothing to do with me. I got Maya. Understand that. Moving on. In its complete form, watch this. Religion is composed of three aspects. Again, layers. Everything has a process and everything have layers. So let's understand that. I'm gonna end the lesson right there. Like I said, 20 couple minutes. No, I'm not. I'm gonna continue to go like I said I would. I'm doing what I do for you. Let's go. And the three aspects of mythology: ritual and metaphysics. They're gonna tell you the story. You're gonna perform the ritual, and it should create something in you called the metaphysic or the mysticism, or I call it the awakening. Same thing. Nihas, whatever it is. But while many religions contain the rituals, the traditions, metaphors, and the myths, there you go, that word again. Religion contains myths. They are there are so few professionals who are trained in what? Understanding their deeper aspects, psychological implications, That means you ain't got enough well-known religious people to profess or practice religion in the proper way. So it's been corrupted, misunderstood, distorted, all that stuff, and y'all still believe in it. Too much stuff. Okay, let's go. Now, thus there is what? Disappointment. Well, I'm praying, I ain't getting no answer. Well, okay. You got disappointment, you got frustration, you got disillusionment among many of the followers of that religion. Why? Because the leaders within many religions, particularly in the Western Hemisphere, don't practice pure religion. It's egoism at its best, hiding and masquerading as theism, but it's really egoism. Those guys at the top of religion, preachers, moving on. Now, that's why it's difficult to what? Evolve spiritually. Why? Without the proper spiritual guidance. I always say, I'm not Christian, but what have they done? Decide to be Christians. Many followers of religions, especially Roman Catholicism, feeling out of touch. Why do you think that is with the church? They're falling out of touch with the church. The synagogues or the temple have left it feeling guilt and a deep sense of loss. When people go to these places, man run these places. It's like church. If the pastor's nice and good, you love it. But if the pastor into your life is, you fall out with God. You stop going to church, you stop being that the church ain't what God is. You go to church to fellowship, to worship with like-minded people. But if you're going to think you're gonna find God, again, looking for God in all the wrong places. Look in there. watch this. Now through self, I can say, look at why? Because through self search and research into what the origins and the evolution of religion, which is what I do. Calm down. It is possible to what? To discover mythological vestas within all religions. Like I tell you, they all have some truth. Like the cocaine, I give you that analogy. Yeah, it's cocaine, but is it good cocaine or is it just cocaine? Commercial street cocaine has been cut, sliced, and diced, so the people doing that don't know no better, so they're ignorant. The higher ups, the people with the money, oh, they know the good stuff. Why? They get it. They can pay for it. That's why. So understand that a higher priest, a high priest of religious people, they got a little more knowledge than the average Bible thumper who just need to rely on somebody telling them what this means, what that means. I break it down for you. I don't need to be a preacher. I'm a teacher. I give it to you so you can use it. Moving on. Now, in all religions, there's some truth invested. I keep telling you that. Now, which can lead to greater understanding. You can get better through religion, and I got people who are, but that's right. Religion is the esoteric, outer ritualistic form of religion. That's just one form, okay? Which with which we are most familiar is only what? Just the tip of the iceberg. Of course, you go to church and profess to be a Christian, or you go to the mosque, or that's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. Why? Because it's only a beginning to a deeper discovery of what? The transcendental truth of what? Existence of God in man. Hope you enjoying the lesson. I'm trying to, I'm fighting. If religions were properly understood, I'm just saying, and practiced properly, most would provide a what suitable system to what the yoga reunitement. Why? Because they're followers with God, because the deeper aspect of all religion leads to the what? The same goal, to know thyself, become spiritually enlightened, become one with God. When a religion is adopted at the level of ritual and tradition, meaning they just know the story and they go to church. Now, with the idea that it alone is correct. If you ain't a Christian, you're going to hell. And all others are false. That concept. I ain't saying if you're in the right thing, you're going to hell. You will, but I ain't saying. I don't advocate that. What I mean is, if you don't do the right thing, you're going to hell. Don't make a difference what religion you profess. So understand that. But watch this. But the result is discord and disharmony amongst religious followers. Why? Further adopting a religion on the superficial level by simply memorizing certain verses and spitting them out like you know, but you just memorized them, or rituals does not produce transformation in consciousness. Meaning you ain't raised your conscious level, you playing the same game. You ain't doing nothing. Which is the true purpose of religion, to raise your conscious level. Just like yoga, you got to raise your consciousness, commune with your higher self, go into meditation mode. Why? To go inside yourself. That's where the answers are. The Akashic record ain't out there. Akashic record's in here. If there is no improvement, watch this. Now, this is my issue. If you go to church and there's no improvement in your personal space at the level and reach the level of peace and serenity, confidence, happiness, fertility, honesty, love, and other such good qualities, what is the purpose? Because you don't have all those things, you doing the wrong thing. Church is supposed to do that. I know right thinking does. And then there is what? No religion occurring. Religion means to raise, to link back to what? Your essence, God. If you ain't doing that, you spinning your wheels. Due to lack, here you go, of what? Knowledge and understanding about what? The deeper purpose of religion. A lot of people could care less. They just hell bent on the belief and they good to go. I got my Bible. I'm chosen. Well, that rhetoric that means nothing. Your quality of life, your deeds that you perform on a day-to-day basis speaks for itself. Moving on. So watch this. Religion, okay, here you go. They are misunderstanding about the deeper purpose of religion. Watch it. Religions have been the basis of conflict throughout the world for what? Many years. This has prompted many people to speak out against religion, as I do, as a cause of what? Strife among the people. I call it the well-dressed lie. You packaged up a concept, a viewpoint, put a little twist on it, impact it, give it back to the people, and you know it's wrong. Moving on. Some even become what? Upset at the mention of God because what? They think that those who are speaking of God in a manner other than that which they are familiar are displaying a form of mental illness or disrespect. Because I don't see it your way, I got to be crazy. Or I'm being disrespectful. See, that's just not right thinking. Moving on. Others have what? Proposed the idea that religion is an excuse. Here we go. That some people use to escape what? The responsibilities and problems of the world, while others lose themselves in religion on an emotional level. It's just, oh, yeah, seeking what? Trances or communion with the spirit. Again, that's meditation. You want to go into a trance and speak in tongue and all that, that's meditation. But y'all do it verbally. It's a difference. Now, watch this. Commune with the spirits. If there are any real basis to religion, and if so, how can religion be a benefit to mankind if it's corrupted, misunderstood, distorted, and practiced wrong? The wisdom of yoga, the initial science, brings insight to all religions. Why? Because it leads to what? An understanding, not a misunderstanding, and the underlying idea upon which the religious symbols are really based. The attempt is there, the concept is there, just to understand it, and everything that goes with it is not. That's my point. So when these references are understood, the practitioners religious practitioner is able to what? Move from the ritualistic, meaning the story, and the mythological level. Again, the first two levels. So here we go. The ritualistic and mythological level of religion. That's what most people are stuck on. In order to get to the metaphysical level, you have to put some work in. Righteous, virtuous work daily. And this level, all religions are what? Equal. Why? Because this level is transcendent of all rituals and mythologies. All of the names and forms given to the Supreme Being are unified at what? The metaphysical level. Meaning, no matter what philosophy you teach, what religion you call it, they all got to raise up to become conscious of themselves. So I don't care what religion you practice. I do spirituality, living. This thing now, metaphysical. Let me explain to you about metaphysical, the mystical level, the mystical experience. That magic that happens when you and God become one. I remember mine like it was yesterday. The epiphany, whatever, life-changing situation scenarios that made you realize, whoa, yeah, this thing is real. Okay, let's go. The supreme being is understood as transcendent of all names and forms, the source of all objects and people, and the object of all veneration. At this level, there is personal experience of the divine. When you reach that level, you had the mystical experience. If not, you're still in search. If not, you haven't reached it. Simple as that, but you can do that in time with practice. It ain't just going, well, you're going to wake up when it happen to happen. No, you got to put the work in. That's the difference. Next level is religious rituals and the traditions. Commemorative exercise, meaning every week y'all go to church, every first Sunday you do the little communion. Okay, I see all that. But watch this. Commemorative exercise related to the myths, that y'all following, which lead the mind to contemplate and think about the divine. Y'all call him Christ, Jesus. We go straightforward. God, no middleman. Next one is, watch this, religious mythologies. There's mythology in religion. Astrology, zodiac, and everything else that's in there, allegory, all those come together as teaching tools to get you to learn a lesson. No, that's it. That's the program. Watch this. So, religious mythologies a virtue of various cultures. So yeah, different cultures have different concepts. I understand that. The stories of God and creation with different names, forms, pictures, representations of the divine in human and zoomorphic symbolic forms have been done since beginning of time. Signs and symbols. Okay. We start out, they tell you what, picture worth 1,000 words, right? So what that picture say? Okay. Some things you don't need to say. You can just show them a picture. Okay. Simple as that. So that's the whole concept. I'm gonna end the lesson for now. I have some more, but I think I done energy long enough. 40 minutes. Wow, that's a long time. Hope you got a good understanding of God for yourself. Put it to use. See if it can work for you. I know it do. I use it.